Okay, so this is the brand messaging manifesto, a guide to our tone and messaging. So I've decided to use our own example here just because some of the ones that we're working on at the moment just haven't gone through final approval, and we have made some updates very recently. So this is the kind of most updated one that we have that we can share. So this is the God Save the SERP brand messaging manifesto. Of course, we had Natalie do one for us when we went through our rebrand. That was actually the first stage of our rebrand. And everything was kind of guided from this. Even like the graphic designers found this incredibly useful. Like the graphic designer who worked on our branding actually said, like, this is, one of the most useful documents she's ever been given by a client, and it really made her life a lot easier. So it's divided up into these sections. So first of all, how to use this guide, because we understand that sometimes it can feel a little bit abstract, because it's not something that's immediately like customer facing. It's not something that's right there on your website. So it's just a little bit of like how to use it, what its purpose is. Okay. So here really it's about, when creating a piece of content, asking yourself if all of these elements are reflected, making sure that writers have a point of reference when they're working on content, etc., etc. So yeah, just like Natalie says here, by showing up with consistent brand messaging and a strong brand voice, we can help build our brand awareness and create a deep sense of trust with our audience. It's essentially what we're trying to achieve. So the first part of it is the clan, aka our audience. So this is all about our ideal customer. So for us, that is marketing leaders at scaling B2B companies. They might be, VP marketing, head of marketing, founders, marketing managers, head of comms, etc., etc. Just so that is very, very clear, very simple. Customer archetype. Okay, so this is kind of based on the sort of Jungian archetypes. Now, obviously, customers are complex human beings. We can't just fit them into a box and say that everything is going to be um, exactly like this. But having these types of archetypes can really just help us understand our customers in as much of a global way as we possibly can. So we talk about a little bit about their pain points, what's important to them, what their desires are, what their drives are, and what their biggest fears are. Now we also link to a kind of bigger, more fuller description of each archetype, just to sort of really help you understand it. So we have their frustrations here. Obviously, this is going to be hugely important when you're working on content, copy, all of it. You've got all their frustrations here: lackluster website conversion rates, can't find the right SEO/writer, busy, lack of SEO expertise. These are all frustrations that our ICA struggle with. Their desires, again, more leads from search, improve SEO without sacrificing their brand. This is, this for us, for instance, is what this was so pivotal, pivotal, pivotal to our entire brand, because that was the thing that just kept coming up in nearly every single sales call that we had. And it's even one of the reasons why we started offering brand messaging as one of our core services. Again, reliable. People are really struggling to find reliable writers to know what that's about. It's just a huge problem, etc. Now, the hesitations and false beliefs is a really awesome one, because this is just like done for you social media content, right? We have a lot of false beliefs in our industry, and your customers are going to have a lot of false beliefs that you're going to have to overcome and help them understand that they're false limiting beliefs before they're ready to invest in your product. So this is your kind of response to that. It can help with sales calls. It can help with social media content. It's literally copy and paste social media content done for you. And again, just even for inspiration, when your content teams and stuff are thinking about new content, this is really, really handy. These hesitations and false beliefs are crucial to what we call pre-launch content. So if you're launching like a new feature or something, or a new resource, these are going to be super, super helpful. Okay. The declaration. So the declaration is our core messaging. Okay. So it's kind of like your positioning. For us, the SEO copywriting power up for B2B companies who don't want to conform to drab norms in the name of ranking in Google. That is our positioning. That is the position that we that we kind of hold in our space. because like I said, that was literally how this whole brand came about. It was to solve that one problem. And even like certain elements here of this kind of positioning statement comes directly from our clients. Like one client described us as the SEO power up of their content team. And we loved that. We wanted to just put that in as many different places as we could. Because again, your customers, they have the language that you should be using. Okay. Brand mission. So as Natalie always gives a little explanation, the status quo we're changing, the big impact we're after, and the steps we're taking to get there. Okay. So for us, obviously, any type of SEO content can come with a huge question mark if it's just this horrible keyword stuffed nightmare that, the market for these services is just flooded with, right? So this is our kind of mission. And then our brand promise, who we help, the challenges they're overcoming, the dream they're after, how we help them reach it. Okay. Core values, again, this is really important for, say, your about page. These can just literally be taken and then just popped onto your about page. I'm not going to read all of these, but again, these are all based on not just lofty ideals that we want, but what's important to our clients, what's important, in your case, what's important to your customers. And that's revealed through the research phase that we do before we actually produce the brand messaging manifesto. Key differentiators, and this is so important for SaaS companies. There's likely 100 products that are similar to yours. So this idea that compared to other SEOs and copywriters, we do it with more, and then X, Y, Z. Again, all things that are key and important to our clients. Services and products. Our hot takes. Again, this is great for social media content, great for blog content. If you're ever stuck, these are kind of like the sort of spicy opinions and things that kind of like what you stand for. And our origin story as well. Your origin story is so important for building that trust, that brand awareness. I mean, there's so many great examples of how origin stories really help shape a brand. So this is ours. So kind of started off with me by myself, pregnant in France, not knowing what to do with myself, and then eventually, finding this company, expanding, etc. And again, this is great for your about page and all that kind of like really branded content that just helps build trust from for your customers. And then we have here a little voice of customer proof. So this is just like little quotes from many that we dig up during our interviews, survey responses, etc., from your customers. So again, these are some of the words from the humans we help that support our brand messaging. So again, great things for like testimonials. Again, these can all be just standalone social media posts, just good, nice words from your clients. These can be put in your website copy, and also just again to remind your team of who you're serving, why, what they need, etc. Our business goals as well help align your team for kind of like more for internal messages, but they also do help guide your decisions. It's important to have everyone on board with those. Now the vibe. So we finally get to the part that most people think of when they think of like brand, voice, messaging, etc. So this is like your brand and your brand voice kind of section. Okay, so again, we have that idea of like the brand archetype. Ours is the outlaw meets the lovable punk next door. So yeah, again, rule breakers by nature, fed up with status quo, etc., etc. And it's kind of like who we kind of are as a company, like how we show up consistently. For instance, yeah, we're the opposite of a wallflower. Love to be the center of attention at a party. I mean, you look at our website, you look at our branding, and that's probably pretty clear. We're not like shy minimalists by any stretch of the imagination, and this is just consistently being shown across our marketing, even like I said, like our visuals as well on our website, etc. So again, this was something that really helped our graphic designers in particular when they were working on our website and on our branding as well. Voice analysis. So again, vocabulary, cadence, voice type. We also have like a little link here to awesome resource where you can really kind of geek out about the voice specifically that you're going for, based on Justin Blackman and Abby Woodcock's amazing work on brand voice. And then tone, key elements. Again, we're direct. We can have some synonyms here and an example. This is so important for writers who are working on your copy. You're not just going to have one copywriter produce all of your marketing collateral. That would be insane. There's going to be multiple people, and each one of those is going to bring their own interpretations and their own takes to the table, which is awesome. But you also need a certain amount of, brand consistency, right? And this is to make sure that you nail that. We're direct, weird. This is actually direct quote from one of our clients when we're kind of asked about the vibe and stuff. Fun. This came up consistently. Every single client that we interviewed said fun, so that just had to be front and center here. Expert, because again, just because you're fun, weird, and direct does not mean you're not an expert. Style choices. So yeah, we do swear in our marketing. That's just who we are. We use UK English spelling, slang words like lemmy, gotcha, etc. And then also like what we would just never do. Like we would just, if I saw this in a social caption, one of these emojis, I would delete it immediately. This one actually, probably if I'm using it ironically, I would probably use it. But yeah, again, if someone was to be writing copy for us and use like this, like it would also tell me they haven't read the brand voice guides, because I would delete that immediately. Taglines that we can use, so this can kind of help with things like social media bios, webs, or what am I trying to say? Email sign-offs, etc. Our one-liners. So again, a collection of sort of pithy on-brand phrases we can reuse. Like, we can always have this joke that we're reluctant B2B marketers because it kind of started off trying to be B2C, and just B2B people kept finding us, and we kind of just eventually gave in. And that just became part of our sort of brand origin story. Brand vocab. So again, like we is very on brand for us because obviously I'm Irish and I use a lot of sort of Irish slang and things like that in our marketing, which is also important because a lot of our clients as well are from Ireland. So it kind of helps us immediately sort of identify one another. Yeah, there's another one, crack, bloody, arse, we, etc. And yeah, and that's it. And even just down to like what emojis are on brand for you. So that is a walkthrough of the brand messaging manifesto. So as you can see, this is not some like fluffy tone of voice kind of guides that says something like, we are professional. We, you know, yeah, basically all the ones that I've seen is like, we are professional but friendly, but and it's just a kind of a bunch of adjectives that don't really mean anything. Here we really do go deep into your brand, and it can be used across all of your marketing collateral. And yeah, it's really based on your customers as well. That's a huge part of this process, is all of the research that goes into it. So now you've got a little insight into the brand messaging manifesto.